What's the number one thing that you crushed?
I really desire to help not only myself, but other people around me to build wealth. Our number one focus right now is short-term rentals, buying Airbnbs and allowing our team members, operations and agents to buy into that investment opportunity, returning them a great return. We don't do anything less than 20% cash on cash return. That's our model.
If you could give me the 2 minutes of how you, from cradle to agent, right? So just a brief overview of, where you, kind of how you got your start and how you got to where you're at today.
Yeah, absolutely. So I actually started in real estate in 2017. I had a restaurant background. I was in the restaurant business for 29 years. Jumped into real estate thanks to a good friend of mine who helped me with my own real estate needs. And I just fell in love with the process when I bought a house in 2016 and just went on this journey. It's a funny thing, he suggested reading the MREA. That was my introduction to real estate, was reading the MREA. So I read that. And then I took a little vacation, a little sabbatical, came back and I said, all right, tell me more. I need to know how to get into this business. And, a month later I had my license, joined KW right away and just dove straight in. I knew from my experience in the restaurant business that I desired to run a team, to be part of a team. That was what I did in that business. And that made sense for me after reading the MREA in the real estate world. So a year later, after getting my feet really wet, I think I sold 48 homes in my first year. So we jumped in and I interviewed with several different teams doing the career visioning process. And when I found the one team that I felt like had the biggest network, the most opportunity, I joined that team, which is the Big Red team where I'm at today. And the owner was the OP. So the OP wanted to do more office and OP work. I wanted to run his team. So a year later, he gave me his team. He said, here you go. It was me and one admin at the time. And so right now we have 19 people on the team, a good balance of operations and agents. We're in Kentucky and Indiana. We have showing agent, we have ISA team. We built it out, doing everything we can to follow the model. And in that whole process, I became a real estate investor, a MAPS coach, and here we are today.
What's the number one thing that you crush that if whether it's leads, listings, leverage, wealth building, what's the number one thing we could share with our audience?
I think the number one thing that we're crushing in the last 2 years is wealth building. Selling real estate in my world, especially running the team at this level and doing having all these other businesses within a business, is more like having these jobs within a business. So I really desire to help not only myself, but other people around me to build wealth, in real estate as obviously one of the most awesome vehicles to do so.
What does that look like?
Yeah, so our number one focus right now is short-term rentals.
Okay.
Is buying Airbnbs, as most people know them, and then allowing our team members, operations and agents to buy in basically shares like a business into that investment opportunity, returning them a great return. We don't do anything less than 20% cash on cash return. So that's our model.
Let's talk about how you identify the property and then what it looks like for the team members. So what are your standards? I know you said 20% cash on cash. How do you know that? What are you looking for?
I built a MRA team style wealth building vehicle within the team, or separate from the team.
Okay.
So I have a director of operations, I have a finance person, I'm the numbers person, and then I have someone who's also a great contractor mindset, design mindset, who can go into a house and transform it to what would make a great Airbnb for our market.
Okay.
Right. This is how we make an extra bedroom to get more people to sleep in there. So I have the leverage in that core group to be able to do this quickly and at a high level. Okay. But the model, the process is we locate a property, whether it's off market or on market. We're going to do research on something called AirDNA. So
AirDNA, like DNA?
AirDNA.
Okay.
Yep, .co, not .com, but .co.
Okay.
Is a international website that has a lot of data collected from bookings.com, VRBO, and Airbnb.
Okay.
Some people love it. Some people don't love it. I think it's good for what information it can provide me about a local market, specifically to Airbnbs, the occupancy rate,
Okay.
what's the average nightly stay, what is the average size of the Airbnbs in the area? Is it a
Okay.
2 bedroom? Is it a 2.5 bedroom? Is it a 3 bedroom? And then I want to fill a niche that is not currently in the market. We're really looking regionally, and which be Kentucky, Indiana, Michigan, Tennessee. Eventually setting sights on other more traditional vacation markets like Florida, Texas, other parts of the country that would make great Airbnb properties. Because we are looking regionally and we're not in a traditional tourist market, a vacation market, our competition we've identified is hotels.
Okay.
Really not other Airbnbs, right? Because in the Louisville, Kentucky market, which is what we're operating in, there's 24,000 hotel rooms. How can I compete against 24,000 hotel rooms? Well, I can offer more people to stay at my location than what it would cost them to stay at 2 or 3 hotel rooms, because we get large groups of people, sporting events, concerts, golf outings, weddings, those type of things where people would travel to an area to be with family or friends, but they don't want to stay in a hotel because it's really expensive to have that many hotel rooms. They can stay in my house. 3 bedrooms, sleeps 8 to 10 to 12 people. It's a good deal, right? And so we can make our money, and hotels, they'll be all right.
What does it look like from the team aspect for a team member to be involved?
As soon as it's under contract, we have to present it to our local investors, which starts with the team.
Okay.
So the whole mission behind this, if I could take just a moment to explain
Please.
that, the whole mission was, we have a mission statement within the team to help everybody achieve a life by design by achieving both their personal and professional goals.
Okay.
And part of that is wealth building, right? And so we've talked about it. And finally, my director of sales came to me earlier this year and said, when are we going to stop talking and start taking action? And that was, rightfully so, the kick in the pants. I need it. Sometimes we all get that, right? We need it.
Yep.
And so I was like, okay, well, let's design this out. And I spent last year talking to a lot of people across Keller Williams about what an investment club would look like for a team. And I hit a lot of dead ends. I felt like there wasn't something that matched what I was looking for. It was all about trying to figure out who else had a model created so that I didn't have to go create the model, right? And so actually, my MAPS coach, Gabby Brennan-Show, pointed me in the direction of this book called The Best Ever Apartment Syndication Book. I read that, and as I read it, I was thinking, oh, this is what's going through my head. This is exactly what I'm thinking of, is how to get a group of investors on one property. The difference is we're buying literally one house, not an apartment complex, doing this model, right?
Right.
So the minimum threshold, we can buy, in our market, we can buy a $250,000 property that is going to cash flow better than 20% cash on cash. So, and we can do that, and I can allow my operations team or any other agent involved to invest at a level of $2,500. Gets them in the door.
Okay.
And we'll allow investments based on the price of the property up to, say, $20,000 for them to invest in the property. And then from that, our goal, and so we actually have designed it to where it's 3 different tiers of investors. So tier 1 is people on our team, agents and operations.
Okay. And then what's tier 2?
Tier 2 is the investors, our investor buyers that we have as clients for the real estate team, right? The people that we already know, our VIP clients, our past clients that are thinking about getting into real estate. It's an easy way for them to get in. So, and then tier 3, I have MAPS clients, I have MAPS coaches in my tier 3 because they haven't invested with us before. Maybe I haven't been introduced to them personally. And then once I am, then you become a tier 2. Right? My tier 2 gives me my tier 3, if that makes sense.
So we've got our list of investors, and then what happens, right? How they identify what level they want to invest as, or what happens?
So we offer shares based on the price of the property and what it would take for them to be investors. So the 4 of us, the 4 I mentioned earlier, myself and my team, are the general partners, and then the rest of the group are limited partners.
Okay.
right? So, and then we have an operating agreement drafted up for the property, which we already have a standard operating agreement. We just got to fill in the blanks with our local attorney doing that work. And then we have an addendum attached to that operating agreement outlining the percentages of ownership for everybody in the group.
The closing day happens. You get it closed. Everyone is aware of what their percentages are. Have you gone? What happens then with the profitability? What do you leave reserves in account, or what happens next?
In the process of collecting money from the investors, we actually collect not only the down payment, we collect. I took the hold sheet from the hold book and from Keller Inc. I took that hold sheet and I added some different columns to it to account for furnishings, account for any CapEx repairs, to account for 6 months in reserves for mortgage payment, taxes, insurance, utilities, HOA, whatever would go into for 6 months to hold in reserves. So we collect that money. That's the investors bring that money to the table. Quarterly dividend, and we do a presentation, like a PowerPoint presentation. We do it in Canva to the investors once the property's under contract. Typical residential, we have 30 days to get it closed.
Yep.
So within a couple of days of going under contract, we send out emails and texts to all of our people in our database that's for the investors for this club and say, we're doing a presentation, jump on this call if you want to be in. And because we're going to set a deadline, usually 2 days after that, for them to decide that they want to invest in this property.
You're adding additional value even just by inviting them.
Yes.
How many people would you say show up to a presentation?
It's only like 10 to 15.
Do you typically have the same investor group, or is it different people each time?
There's a core that's the same. But I would tell you, I get calls every week saying, when are you going to buy your next property? When are you going to buy your next property? Because they're waiting for the next opportunity, right?
Do you have a goal set around how many properties you want to?
Of course. By the end of this year, we want to be at 10. And then every year after that, we want to buy 20, so that in 5 years, we can have 100 of these. And we set it up to where we have a 5-year plan. We'll have a cash out refi option, or because we love the property and it's making us really good money, we want to stay in. Or we might just sell the property because there's a better place to put that money. So everything comes with a 5-year plan.
How many decision makers? Is it all of the investors?
Just the 4 of us.
Just the 4.
Just the general partners. And we have to have 3 of the 4 of us make that decision.
Okay, so it's majority is going to make that decision. That's awesome. You are amazing. I'm so incredibly impressed by all of this. I 100% want to be tier 2. I would like to move out of tier 3 and into tier 2 somehow.
We'll hook you up.
I appreciate that.